Hello everyone, this is my grandma. My grandma loves to play parches. She taught my sister and me how to play parches. No, my sister beats her every time they play parches. On the other hand, I always lose to my grandma. She loved to have the whole family at home. When all my uncles, aunts, and cousins come over, she always cooks for all of us. Now that you know all this about my grandma, let me tell you her story. Her name is Olga Marina Pineda. She was born on February 5, 1945, in Cajamarca, Tolima. She is the youngest of four siblings. My grandma lived until she was 3 years old in Cajamarca. Then they moved to Barragán. They lived on a farm. It was very small. My grandma slept with her mother, while her brother had to share a room. On the farm, they grew barley and lentils. My grandma couldn't help with the crops, so she helped her mother with the housework. Grandma didn't celebrate many holidays. She knew that Semana Santa was important, but they couldn't attend the mass because they had to walk 2 hours to go to the village church. The only holiday she liked was Christmas. My grandma will get very excited because it means they will cook and eat a lot of buñuelos and natilla. My great grandmother liked to hand out the food to the farm workers first, and then she will sit with her children to eat. The way my grandma celebrated Christmas in her childhood is a little different than the way I celebrate it now. When she got married, she became aware of the tradition of giving and receiving gifts. So she started to follow this tradition. I digress. Let's continue with her story. I thought my grandma and her family loved living in Barragan. They had to run away because the guerrillas were terrorizing the people of the town. And it will not be long before they reached the farm where they lived. The older brother stayed a few days to sell the farm, while my grandmother, her two brothers, and my great grandmother traveled to Caloto. She was 5 years old when this happened. Let's move away from this sad anecdote. She started to study when she arrived in Caloto, in a nun's school. In this school, only girls could study. To get my grandmother's school supplies, her older brother had to travel to Santander de Quilichao as it was the closest place where he could find a stationery store. My grandma was a very good student. However, once a teacher hit her with a ruler on her hands because she forgot to bring a piece of cardboard to the school. My great grandmother didn't like her daughter being beaten, so she didn't let my grandmother continue studying there. My great grandmother told to a friend of hers who was a teacher and asked her to teach my grandmother to read, write, add, and subtract. After a while, my grandmother went back to school, but in a different school. She studied until fifth grade. There was a very peaceful time in my grandma's life, but this peace was interrupted by the death of her older brother. When my grandma was 7 years old, her older brother was killed on his way home from work, which was at the top of the mountain. While he was walking home, a group of soldiers shot him because they thought he was a guerrilla fighter. At least that it was the people who came down from the mountain say. My grandma got married at the age of 20, or rather, she was forced to get married at the age of 20. She lived with my grandfather on my grandparents' parent farm. Later, my grandma and my grandpa bought a house in Caloto, where they opened a store. She had us 6 children with my grandfather, and the rest is a story.